You know, Jesus isn't satisfied with us standing in the crowd watching him, even if we're in awe of him, because he says, follow me. And right here in this passage I last left off with, 1 Peter chapter 2, everything rotates around the hub of this line. To this you were called because Christ suffered for you, leaving you an example that you should follow in his steps. That's 1 Peter 2:22. And it goes all the way back context-wise to verse 18 of chapter 2. Goes all the way forward to chapter 3, verse 12. And it's talking to us about the rough times in life and how we should respond the same way Jesus did. And that is, we should respond by holding our tongues. It starts with slaves and their masters. Now, we can easily translate that now into employers, employees, or student teacher, and how they should respond. But it goes on to talk about husbands and wives. Even when we're having difficulty with each other, we have an example. It's Jesus in the way he dealt with trouble. And he did not hurt people. He did not sin with his words. It goes on to talk about Christians, the whole group of us, saying, finally, all of you. But it focuses on Jesus and how he handled trouble. But I only have time to start the pilot hole. You're going to have to drill down yourself. But I want you to see verse 23 of 1 Peter 2. It's important. It says, when they hurled their insults at him, at Jesus, he did not retaliate. When he suffered, he made no threats. Now here's the key. Here's the source of Jesus' strength. It says, instead, he entrusted himself to him who judges justly. This is what happened. When Jesus was on the cross, and when he was in his trials, when he was being accused and abused and ridiculed, Jesus did not sin with his mouth. He didn't fire back because he knew the Father had his back. He trusted his Father. He trusted God to make everything right in the end. On the cross, Jesus looked like a loser. When they were abusing him, he looked like a loser. But at the resurrection, things changed. And when Jesus comes back, there'll be no question of who he is and that he is not a weakling. He is not a loser at all. This is where we have to really ask the question, is God real? Is he really going to be involved in your life and mine? Am I willing to put up with junk from people and return good instead, because I know that God judges justly? This is something we really have to work on, think about. And actually, in chapter 3 and verse 9, it tells us as Christians, do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult, but with blessing. In other words, when somebody cuts you down, you say something nice about them. When people mistreat you, as Jesus said, we're to pray for them. And the reason the verse finishes, because to this you were called that you may inherit a blessing. If I return good for evil, God will bless me. I want to be really honest with you. I would love to give people an earful and still get my blessing. But that's not what the scripture says. That's not what God promises. And that is not the example Jesus gave me. If we want blessing, we'll return good for evil. Good words for bad words. Prayer for mistreatment. We'll follow the example of Jesus. Jesus is strong, and he wants to be strong through you. Think about it.